Let me ask you a question. Do you think what I am about to tell you is possible? The R32 was produced between 1989 and 1994. Despite this, it saved a company that was drifting towards bankruptcy day by day and led to the rebirth of the Skyline GTR models. As if that wasn't enough, despite all the bans and obstacles, he won 29 of the 29 races he entered and returned home with the name Godzilla. Even though this old man left the track to his grandchildren, it deserves to be examined. If you are ready, I will give the intro. So our lovely car company, Nissan, decided to revive the GTR nameplate in 1989 after 15 years of waiting. What's the rush, you ask? They could have waited another 15 years for the stars to align. Let me tell you why. At the time, Nissan was competing in Group A racing with the Skyline GTS-R. Nissan wanted to retire the GTS-R in favor of a more competitive vehicle. The new generation of the GTR, shortly R32 chassis, was designed to dominate Group A class racing. You think racing is your ally? You merely adopted it. R32 was born in it, molded by it. Now we know why Nissan made this vehicle. So, do we know what makes this vehicle legendary? There are basically two things. The 2.6-liter inline 6-cylinder is an engine that makes absurd horses and a four-wheel drive system that is definitely not copied from the Porsche 959. The concept car was shown in 1989 and originally had a 2.4-liter inline 6, which made 312 horsepower. This was very powerful for any sports car in the early 90s, and it sent power to the rear wheels only. But for racing rules, under Group A regulations, a turbocharged engine must multiply its engine displacement by 1.7, putting the new Skyline in the 4000cc class and requiring the use of 10-inch wide tires and some modifications. While we're at it, why don't we make the vehicle four-wheel drive? Nissan said. So they developed a special motorsport-oriented AWD system for this purpose called the Atessa ETS. The Atessa setup could send 100% of the GTR's power to its limited-slip rear axle until it needed to deploy everything it had, at which point up to 50% of drive could be directed to its front tires. Although this assisted with traction, it made the car 100 kilograms heavier. The added weight put the GTR at a disadvantage to other cars in the 4000cc class. Nissan then made the decision to increase the displacement to 2600cc and put the car in the 4500cc class, with the car's weight near equal to competing cars. The 4500cc class also allowed for 11-inch wide tires. New engine block and heads were then developed to better match the increased displacement. The result was a car that had a power output of 600 horsepower. Later, Rennick produced Group A racing engines rated between 500 to 650 horsepower depending on track conditions. In production for just 5 years, it had one purpose, and that purpose was to regain its throne at the Japanese Touring Car Championship. The Skyline GTR earned top honors in championships and prestigious races on 3 different continents. In Europe, the R32 took the overall victory in the Spa 24 in 1991, and it won the Australian Touring Car Championship for the first time in 1991, followed up with another championship in 1992. Taking Bathurst 1,000 victories both years. However, it was in Japanese touring cars where the R32 saw arguably its biggest successes. This competition against high-powered German vehicles from Ford, BMW, and Porsche, which were dominating before the R32. The Nissan Skyline GTR never missed a single shot. R32 scored the victory in every Japanese touring car championship race during the 90, 91, 92, and 93 seasons, earning championships for the Hasemi and Impul teams along the way. The GTR's dominance was so impactful on Australian soil, and this was the first time it would be given its famous nickname Godzilla by the Australian press. Again, it was so dominant that it garnered a lot of hate from the Aussies that they banned turbocharging and all-wheel drive from the competition, which was aimed directly at the GTR. But this was not a defeat for Nissan. It was pure victory since the GTR had succeeded at what it set out to achieve. In addition to its racing repertoire, the R32's status as a fan favorite was cemented with its inclusion in the Gran Turismo video game series, an enduring and endlessly popular option for gamers everywhere, and a racing champion. The Nissan Skyline GTR R32 proved its prowess on the track, on the screen, and in the competition to be named the greatest Nissan Nismo race car of all time.